Okay, so we've all heard of ChatGPT. I mean, you've probably used it, right? But what about the actual tech that makes it all work? That little three-letter acronym, GPT. It's everywhere now, but what does it really mean? Well, today we're going to pop the hood and take a look at the engine that's driving this entire AI revolution.
Here's the plan. First, we'll break down what those three letters actually stand for. Then, we'll look at its wild and crazy evolution. We'll get into the difference between those giant core models and the specialized tools we use every day. We'll also see who else is playing in this sandbox, and wrap up with a really fascinating question: who actually gets to own the name GPT?
All right, let's dive right in. If we really want to understand what makes this thing tick, we've got to start with a name. It's time to finally decode that acronym. We hear it, we say it, we see it everywhere. But let's be honest, what does GPT actually stand for? Let's get to the bottom of it. There it is, Generative Pre-trained Transformer. I know, it sounds like a real mouthful. But trust me, each of those words is a crucial piece of the puzzle, telling us exactly how this tech works. Let's take them one by one. So let's break that down. Generative? Well, that just means it's a creator. It makes brand new, original stuff. It doesn't just analyze things that already exist. Pre-trained? That's its education. Think of it like it went to school by reading a huge, massive chunk of the internet, learning all the patterns, the grammar, the facts. And Transformer? Okay, this is the secret sauce. It's this incredible architecture, first introduced by Google, that lets the model understand context and figure out what's actually important in a sentence. So once that transformer piece was in place, whoo boy, things took off. I mean, the speed was just unbelievable. We're talking about a jump from a sleepy research paper to a global phenomenon in just a couple of years. It's wild. Just look at this rocket ship. In 2018, OpenAI proves the concept works with GPT-1. A year later, boom, GPT-2 is 10 times bigger. But the real earthquake was in 2020 with GPT-3. That's when things got weirdly powerful. Then, of course, 2022 is when ChatGPT put a friendly face on all that power, and the whole world changed. By 2023, with GPT-4, it wasn't just about text anymore. It could understand images, too. Let's just pause on that number for a second. 175 times billion parameters in GPT-3. What does that even mean? Well, think of parameters as tiny little knobs and dials that the model can turn and adjust as it's learning. The more knobs you have, the more sophisticated your understanding can get. And this insane scale is what let GPT-3 do things it was never explicitly trained to do. A total game changer. And all that power brings up a really important idea. The core GPT tech isn't just one single product. It's much better to think of it as this incredibly powerful general-purpose engine that can then be customized for all sorts of different jobs. You've basically got two flavors. On one hand, you have the foundation models. These are the big ones, like GPT-4. They're trained on everything under the sun, which makes them super flexible. On the other hand, you have task-specific models. These start out as a foundation model, but then they get extra training. They're fine-tuned for one specific job. ChatGPT is the perfect example. It's been fine-tuned to be great at conversations. So how does that fine-tuning actually work? Well, a key method is something called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. This is how they made ChatGPT so incredibly helpful. You can kind of think of it like training a dog. Humans would look at the AI's answers and rank them. Good answer, bad answer. Doing this over and over and over again teaches the AI to be more helpful, more accurate, and just better aligned with what we actually want. Now, while OpenAI definitely kicked this whole thing off, their success basically fired the starting pistol for a massive race across the entire tech industry. This is not just one company's story anymore, not by a long shot. And believe me, everyone is in on this race. You've got Google pushing forward with its Palm and Gemini models. Meta is throwing down with Llama. It is a full-on AI arms race. And honestly, that fierce competition is what's pushing this technology forward at such a breakneck speed. And this stuff isn't just in some lab anymore. It is weaving its way into basically everything we do. You've got Salesforce using Einstein GPT to help with sales, and Slack using Slack GPT to summarize all those work messages you missed. This tech is becoming this invisible, powerful layer in everything we use. Okay, for our last section, we're going to switch gears from the tech to a bit of a legal drama. It's a surprisingly intense fight all over three little letters. After creating the GPT, OpenAI now has to figure out if they can actually own the name.
So here's the deal. OpenAI reasonably feels like, since they came up with it, GPT is their brand. They've applied for the trademark and have started asking other companies to maybe not use it. But the US Patent and Trademark Office, well, they push back. Their initial take was that the term is just too generic. It just describes what the technology is. So the whole debate comes down to this. Is GPT a brand like Kleenex, or is it just a technical term like email? And this right here is the heart of the problem for OpenAI. When the government's first impression is that your name is just a description, that's a huge hurdle. It's kind of like trying to trademark the word car or computer. It's incredibly difficult when the name just says what the thing is. And that leaves us with this huge, fascinating question to think about. When a new technology comes along and completely redefines our world, who gets to own the very words we use to talk about it? Is it the creator? Or does it belong to all of us? It's a fascinating conflict, and we're going to be watching it play out for a long, long time.